Coming to the ring at this time, the challenger, Wilfredo Vazquez.
The Puerto Rican Wilfredo Vazquez is a Hall of Famer, a three-weight world champion, a veteran of 60 fights. And look at that, he's wearing a crown because he believes that though Naseem Hamed is the prince, he is the king of the featherweights. How about that for sending out a message?
Well, he's very intelligent. He's proved himself in the ring time and time again. He's only lost one of his last 23 fights, three-time world champion. His credentials are fantastic. So he's a great fighter. So he's gonna, he can give Hamed a lot of trouble in there. We've got to see a very good Naseem Hamed tonight.
As recently as last year, the trade newspapers had Vazquez ranked above the likes of the WBC champion Luisito Espinosa and Kevin Kelley, who gave Prince Naseem Hamed so much trouble in New York. His career's been running 17 years. This is his 21st world title fight. He never lost the WBA featherweight championship in the ring. Some petty politics robbed him of that, which is why that belt is not on the line here. It should be. Questions, though, at 37, has he faded and become too slow and hittable? His last performance was not impressive, but he said he didn't prepare properly for that one.
But you can guarantee that he's prepared for this one. Hamed is the big name everybody wants to beat. The big money fight is him. He's got his opportunity. You can guarantee he's worked harder for this fight than probably any other in his career.
Well, how about this? Not quite sure where this gentleman fits into the script, but he's here anyway.
Well, I think they're trying to entertain. They're trying to take a little bit away from Hamed. They know he's the showman, and they're trying to bring a bit more into it.
Meanwhile, oblivious to all of that, Prince Naseem Hamed is on his way for what I assure you is one of his more spectacular entrances.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the entrance of His Royal Highness of Boxing, the defending champion, Prince Naseem Hamed.
What you want, what you need, what you feel, oh, why don't you tell me?
into the ring tonight for the first time as a married man, and it seems it's all had a very calming effect on him. He's been charm himself this week, smiling, amenable, no belligerence or posturing, and back in harmony completely now with his trainer Brendan Ingle. And it did look for a time last year as if things were getting a little fractured between them.
Yes, I think a lot of things happen around New York, and I think it made a thoughtful Naseem Hamed. He sat down and he's looked at things, and I think that's very good. We know he's very talented, but there was gaping mistakes when he fought in New York, and I think he's probably looked at that, looked at his whole life, and decided that he's got to have some changes.
What you're watching now is the show that he feels the fans who've come to the arena and pay very big money expect to see from him. And I think too, it's very important part of him psyching himself up for a fight, isn't it, this?
Yes, I think it's part of his persona. It's how he gets ready for it. It's how he gets, he's getting his mind right now. This is where, he's getting in the rhythm for the fight, exciting himself there. And I think this is very much, it's important to him. And I think we saw the effect of New York, where nothing worked out there, including his entrance. He didn't get the build-up he liked. And I think, he needs to do this right. It's a big part of his act.
Must be hard singing with a gum shield in, mind you.
Yeah, that's difficult. I struggle to sing very well without a gum shield.
It always amazes me how nerveless he is about the whole thing. Apparently for his last fight in Manchester, he spent part of the day driving a young boy suffering from leukemia around the town for an hour and giving him the thrill of his life.
Yes, which is a wonderful thing to do, but he does prepare differently from most fights. But I think he likes to be active. He doesn't like to sit and dwell on it. I think it's a way of getting past, conquering the nerves.
Well, Eubank didn't do the flip, but Naseem will. This fight, by the way, being broadcast prime time in the USA in a few hours' time. And look at this. Oh, argy-bargy between Vazquez and Hamed. Nobody's tried that with him. Tail of the tape. Vazquez getting on at 37, but he's only lost one of his last 23. He's 13 years older than the Prince. Vazquez is taller and has well, he doesn't have a slight reach advantage, officially the same. The weight, Vazquez right on the limit, Hamed just inside. Vazquez with 60 fights and only 7 defeats. He's had 386 rounds, vastly more experience. But look at Hamed's knockout ratio at the bottom left, 93%. The bookmakers make Naseem Hamed a nailed-on certainty at 9-1 on. Vazquez 5-1 against with the draw at 66-1. Are they being a little too dismissive of Vazquez's chances? We'll see. And our MC, as always, on these big occasions, Michael Buffer. And there's Prince Naseem Hamed's hero, his dad, Sal.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Nymex Arena, Manchester, England, Mr. Frank Warren for Sports Network, sponsored by Adidas and the McCarthy Corporation, proudly presents the main event of the evening, sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control, Supervisor John Morris, Steward in charge Dennis Lofton, timekeeper at the bell Colin Roberts. Also sanctioned by the World Boxing Organization, WBO President and Supervisor at Francisco Barcarcel. The 3 judges scoring this bout on a 10-point must system will be Frank Cairo of the USA, Dave Paris from England, and Paul Thomas from England. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge of the action, also from the United States, Chino Rodriguez. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 12 rounds of boxing for the WBO Featherweight Championship of the World. Are you ready? Manchester, England, are you ready? For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the entire world, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing red with white and weighing in at 9 stone even, or 126 pounds. He brings a professional record of 60 bouts, 15 victories, 37 by knockout with 7 defeats and 3 draws. He has captured 3 world titles in 3 divisions. And tonight, he plans to solidify his march to the Boxing Hall of Fame with a 4th title. Ladies and gentlemen, from Valladolid, Puerto Rico, here is the challenger for the 3-time champion of the world, Wilfredo Vazquez. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing leather with Adidas trim. He weighs 8 stone, 13 and 3/4 pounds, or 125 pounds even. In his professional career, he has a perfect record consisting of 29 victories and 29 bouts, 27 by knockout, and he has captured 2 world title belts. He is considered by many to be among the best pound for pound in the world today. From Sheffield, England, ladies and gentlemen, presenting the reigning and defending undefeated WBO Featherweight Champion of the World, Prince Naseem Hamed.
Well, a spectacular atmosphere in here.
Todo el tiempo, protégete todo el tiempo. Nash, I give you the instructions. Protect yourself at all times. Protect my and obey my commands at all times. Good luck to both of you. Buena suerte.
This is one of the big fights in Prince Naseem Hamed's career, and coming off the performance in America, where there were scares along the way, he took 3 counts that night. His last words on the subject of Vazquez were, "I respect him, but he doesn't have a hope in hell." Vazquez obviously believes it will be very different. The WBO Featherweight Championship on the line. It's Prince Naseem Hamed's 10th defense of a reign that now stretches to more than 2.5 years. And all the victories in that time have come inside schedule. Vazquez, until recently, the WBA title holder at this weight. It's a clash of 2 of the featherweight titans, this. Hamed, left hook from him. What tactics will Vazquez employ? Kelley was very busy with the jab, you might remember. And Hamed had trouble with that, with Kelley outreaching him.
Vazquez, very intelligent, very experienced. He's waiting of Hamed. Hamed likes fighters to come to him. He likes to catch them after they make a mistake. Vazquez not falling into that. He's just waiting, seeing what Hamed to come to him.
Vazquez can be very dangerous with sneak right-hand counters and left hook counters too, with his back to the ropes. On the night he won the featherweight championship, he pulled it around with some spectacular power late on against Eloy Rojas.
And they are the punches that you would employ against the southpaw. You look for right hands, left hooks.
Naseem Hamed, I think, is anxious to get back to the kind of watertight, smart boxing, ramrod jabbing performance that he showed against Jose Badillo, perhaps the best performance so far in his career. He says, I'm a better fighter than I showed against Kevin Kelley, with whom there could be a rematch this summer. We'll see. Good right hand from Hamed. He will certainly have speed on his side here. Vazquez is not a quick fighter, but he's a very cagey and knowing one.
Hamed can't afford to be caught with his chin in the air. He's got to tighten up his defenses.
He does box with his gloves down. Vazquez trying to force him onto the back foot. Hamed quick on his feet. And with this ability, he's wrestled Vazquez down there. That was not a knockdown. Of course, he's possessed of this spectacular power. Hamed, there is no doubt that he's the biggest punching featherweight in the world.
A solid left hand from Hamed. It's a suiting him more now. Vazquez is starting to come forward, looking to lead. Hamed likes the counter with a very quiet round.
Well, Prince Naseem Hamed, of course, is always giving us predictions about what will happen. He's had 11 second-round wins. So what's the prediction tonight?
I'm looking for a second round. I mean, I don't know if you realise this, Adam, but I've knocked out, I think, 10 in the second round. And I see that as a very, very good round for me. So, 2 rounds.
Prince Naseem Hamed talking to Adam Smith there, and he's very conscious about getting these predictions right. You can expect a big effort to make the prediction come true in the second round, although he cannot take risks with Vazquez. The main thing is to get the job done, isn't it? Never mind getting the right round.
That's right, that's not really that important, but it is to a fighter like Naz. He will try, he will put an extra effort in, but I think he'll still be careful. I don't think he wants to make any silly mistakes.
Hamed working well with his southpaw jab and then a sneak little left hand. Hand speed, impressive from Hamed. 2 good left hooks and a right uppercut too. Just looked a little shaky on his feet for a moment there. Did he touch down with his gloves? I think he did, Vazquez, you know. And in New York, as Naz found to his cost, those should be counts. It was not administered there by Gino Rodriguez.
Well, he's wiped the gloves, so he obviously knew that he did go down, but he didn't take up a count.
It was only a flash knockdown, but nevertheless, that'll be interesting to look at again.
Hamed did get through with some good punches. And he is now beginning to bring Vazquez onto him. That's the way he likes to fight. He likes fighters to attack and make mistakes.
This fight going to 19 countries around the world tonight, including China and Iceland, would you believe? And of course, to the United States, again, a big TV deal over there for Naseem Hamed. And the TV executives are describing him as the fastest rising star on the boxing scene in America. But he has to keep winning, of course. He's definitely looking to box his way to victory.
It's much more cautious here. Leaped in there with a good right hook.
Oh, countering right. Good shot, and he has to be careful of those. Hamed. Vazquez is so dangerous like that. And he does have this weakness, Hamed, from time to time of lunging in and leaving himself open.
Yes, that's very much part of his style. Kevin Kelley caught him with that when he was leaping in. He is looking to try and leap in at this moment, Hamed.
Because part of his excitement value is that occasionally he does look vulnerable like that. No prediction true tonight, and I don't think he was that bothered about it, to be perfectly honest.
I don't think so. I think he respects Vazquez. He knows he's in with a quality fighter. Vazquez is trying not to make mistakes. He's trying to wait for Hamed, catch him coming in. And I think, you know, Hamed will not worry about the prediction. It's nice if he can get it right. It's nice if he can say it looks very good. But in this quality of fighter, of quality of opponent, it's very difficult to get things like that right.
Now let's have a look. Did he touch down with the gloves here? I thought he did. Yeah, he definitely did. That should have been a count.
Yes, they could have given him a count for that. He was just coming a little bit off balance, but that would have counted.
Well, the rules state it quite clearly. So he got away with that, did Vazquez. And it could be important on the scorecards, and sometimes the judges will score that 10-8, even if it's only a flash knockdown. Who knows how important that may turn out to be as we go into the third round now. Hamed defending his WBO featherweight championship. Vazquez, a 3-weight world champion already, looking to pick up a new title here, having been stripped of the World Boxing Association version of the crown. Vazquez, a likeable, smart, intelligent family man with business interests in Puerto Rico, does a bit of broadcasting as well.
If you were doubting all the fights and the vast experience, if he's ever come across anybody with the style of Hamed, very, very unique.
Oh, left hook, and he's got him this time, and they'll have to count that. Left himself open, and Hamed was so quick. Vazquez on the floor in round 3. Not for long, but a good shot from the star from Sheffield. Vazquez has only been stopped twice in 60 fights. The last time 8 years ago. And on that occasion, he was knocked cold in the round by Israel Contreras. But you have to say that was a blip, really. His chin has always looked pretty good. And that, by the way, was the 50th knockdown that Hamed has scored in his career.
And another good left hand from Hamed. He's just starting to find the range, find the gaps in the defense of Vazquez.
Good combination by Hamed, who's starting to throw these punches with more menace now. A ripple of applause from the crowd, who sense that Hamed may be getting on top and breaking through. But this is a proud, proud Latin fighter.
Hamed does have to be careful when he leaps in. He's got to try and just tighten that defense, look for the right openings, because Vazquez is dangerous.
It only takes a split second against fellows like this, and your whole career can go west. Throw these punches from some highly unusual angles that other fighters don't even dream about. He's winning the rounds, Clem.
He's winning the rounds. It's a good performance. He's been very cautious. He's looking for the right openings. He's just starting to get Vazquez more and more. But Vazquez also is being careful. He's not reckless. He's not rushing in. But this is a nice performance from Hamed.
But I don't know, you just sense, don't you, that Vazquez could still be dangerous. Good shot, that. Wasn't seriously hurt.
No, he wasn't. But it was a good shot. And you look at the angle, he was leaning back away from that when he caught Vazquez with a punch and still managed to deck him. The angles are amazing. Fighters normally couldn't do this and get away with it.
Hamed, Naseem Hamed. The name in Arabic means gentle breeze. His opponents must feel like it's a hurricane.
He's anything but a gentle breeze in there.
Here's round 4. So far, so good for Hamed. Far less of the errors we saw in that crazy but spectacularly exciting fight at Madison Square Garden last time. Vazquez's face just beginning to look a little marked up.
Yes, it's looking red, and he came into the ring with a lot of scar tissue. Been in many epic battles through the years, and it took its toll around the eyes.
Hand speed and the angle of the punch, the unexpected angle of punch, is catching Vazquez by surprise. He will have watched Hamed over and over again on video, but watching it and then being able to do something about it in reality, two different things. Ooh. Punch thrown with blurring hand speed by Hamed.
Yes, it's the speed that gets him. He's got terrific power, but he hits them very fast when they don't expect it, and that is what really shakes you up.
It's a more conservative performance, but it's a much tighter and more sensible one, this, from Hamed. I think it taught him, that last fight against Kelley, that you cannot take liberties at top world level. Cracking shots again, but I tell you what, Vazquez's chin looks good.
It looks good. He doesn't look as if he's really getting his full weight behind these blows, Hamed, but they're good and they're sharp. He's still a bit cautious, not quite really going for them.
Vazquez, by the way, was saying in the build-up to the fight that he'd spent 5 rounds just studying and looking at Hamed, and then look to pick it up from there when he'd worked a few things out.
Well, to be as successful as he's been in his career, you have to have a good boxing brain.
Ooh. Right hand and a counter back from Vazquez. That was a reminder.
It was a good, powerful punch from Hamed, but Vazquez took that one well.
Oh, some nastiness between them there. Vazquez stuck his face right into Hamed's. And there's certainly a bit of grudge.
Well, Vazquez, he's a proud man. He's not going to give this away easily. Hamed had to take a couple of shots at the end of the round, but still, for me, doing the better work. We're just looking for the gaps, and this is where it ended.
And both of them were sensible enough not to try to make any more of that, and professional enough.
There, Hamed leaping in with the right hand and just being caught with a right of himself. It was similar when he leaped in with Kevin Kelley, caught by a big punch there. And this is where he's vulnerable, when he does move away with his hands down.
The defence is very much based on speed and reflexes. That is true of nearly all fighters from that Brendan Ingle camp in Sheffield. It all started with Harold Graham. taken the whole distance of 12 rounds since 1994 against Vincenzo Belcastro in a European title fight. That right hand just catching him off balance. He does have a bit of a balance problem, doesn't he?
It's because he moves away so quickly, and he leans back as he moves away. So if you can catch him when he's doing that, that spells problems.
Hamed ahead, but the door on Vazquez not completely shut, you feel, by quite a long way. Good body shots from Vazquez, who may just be starting to pick up his own pace a little. He's been training for this fight since January. He says he's been waiting for it since 1995.
Big leap in for the left hook there. Didn't quite connect cleanly. And this is a better round for Vazquez. He's putting more pressure on, forcing Hamed to give ground and use the footwork.
Starting to step in, Vazquez now. Still the jab, move, in and out, fast combinations, tactics from Hamed. Vazquez felt he was caught low.
I think just a little warning from the back of the hand there. Vazquez just slapping from the back of the hand.
The hand speed of Hamed, eye-catching.
Hamed just looking a little sloppy in this round.
This will be the closest round yet. Vazquez certainly had to do more because he was beginning to slip a long, long way behind on the scorecard. Impossible to have given him any of the rounds before that. You could argue more about that one.
Yes, I would probably, well, I would have given that round to Vazquez. I thought he just did more. He just pressured Hamed. I got the feeling Hamed was just puzzling him out, just thinking of his, as he was moving around, just trying to think, what have I got to do? How do I get through the defenses?
Computer says this. Head punches landed by Hamed, 56 to 22 by Vazquez. Body shots, look at that, that's interesting, isn't it? 19 by Vazquez, only 4 from Hamed so far.
Because Hamed, he pretty much relies on head punches. Not a great one to go to the body, but I think that's because in this fight he's doing not a lot, because he's a little wary. He's given Vazquez all the respect he deserves, and he's just being careful.
The argument moves into the 6th round, and this is a round that Vazquez felt might be good for him if he was going to make a prediction. Felix Zabala, his manager, giving him a pat on the way out. He's really having to think his way through this, isn't he, the Prince? Oh, left hand, down he goes. Says it's not a knockdown, but it is, you know.
That was a knockdown. That was a good straight left hand.
He shook his head almost in disgust with himself. I don't think he was really contesting the fact that he was down. Down for the 2nd time, Vazquez. On neither occasion, though, what you'd call badly shaken up.
No, he's been very quick to get up, to collect himself.
While all this is going on, one of the ropes has become quite slack and is being tightened up by feverish work in the corners as you're watching. All part of the drama here. Now the referee stops it as Vazquez lands a right hand afterwards. And just look how loose those ropes are. Oh dear. Well, we've seen some things during fights. I suppose the most amazing was the so-called fan man's arrival by parachute in the Holyfield Bow second fight. This is not quite at that level, but it's time-out time.
Well, it's gone very slack indeed. I'm not sure how that's happened.
And we may have some delay here. This will not be as bad as the problem they had at Real Madrid the other night when somebody pulled down the goalpost and they couldn't start the game. This will be sorted out in a jiffy, I should think. Good left hand that, wasn't it?
Good left hand, just caught him on the side of the jaw. And he didn't, to be honest, looking at it from another angle, he did look slightly off balance, and the shot didn't look as good as I first thought. Caught his arm and pushed him off balance. It didn't really look that good a shot.
Didn't get through. Did I say they'd sort this out in the jiffy? Well, you can have people walking on water on their way into the ring. But the good old-fashioned technology of getting a ring that works. Now, this will spoil the fighter's concentration. This can become a factor in the fight, Glenn.
It will. I'm not sure what's happened. This will upset them. They're getting into the rhythm, but I think the ropes could well have snapped. It's covered in a vinyl so the boxers don't rub against it, but it could well have snapped inside it because it's just gone totally loose.
Now, look at Hamed. He falls back against the ropes there. That was he was moaning there because a right hand was thrown after Gino Rodriguez had said stop. He's chatting to Frank Warren, meanwhile, and the rope, we think, has broken and will have to be replaced. I don't think I've ever seen this before. I've seen a few things in the last 20 years or so covering this business.
No, I don't think I've ever seen especially in such a big fight as this, a rope snapping. But it's had some work tonight. Chris Eubank took a lot of time on those ropes.
Now he has to just keep his concentration together, because how long is this going to take to sort out? I've never actually done the job myself. Mike Goodall and his team, he's an expert at putting up these things, are hard at work. The crowd are getting restive. No point in that, though, really. What can you do? It's one of those things, isn't it?
That's right. There's nothing you do. You certainly can't continue with the rope like that, because it'd be very dangerous for a fighter to fall through it. So you've just got to get on with the problem.
Well, whatever they're paying Mike Goodall, they've got to double it tonight, I think. And they're now having to take the whole rope out. Seen it all now, Glenn.
We have seen a few things, haven't we?
I was there when they had the tear gas. Remember when Tony Sibson fought in Stafford, I think it was? We had tear gas at ringside, and we were all covering our faces with handkerchiefs. I was at the riot at Hagler-Minter.
Riddick Bowe.
The Riddick Bowe riot at Madison Square Garden, when Glenn and I were lucky to escape with our lives onto 7th Avenue that night. We're not in any danger here, but we do have a delay. Now, Hamed and Vazquez are meanwhile having an argument.
I think tempers are just fraying as well in there. It's very difficult for the fighters. They've got to keep their concentration. It's very easy with this delay, so much going on, to lose your concentration. Meanwhile, Frank Warren's given Hamed a few instructions. I'm not really sure that's supposed to happen mid-fight, but...
Now let's have a look at what happened here between the two fighters. They've been hanging around, past each other. just as well they don't speak the same language as well. It really could get a bit tasty, but not too much love lost there.
You still get the feeling there's maybe a little bit of bad feeling and needle in the fight yet.
Well, Vazquez has been quite largely outboxed, and he is one of those fighters who snipes at you psychologically a little bit, Hamed. I think he gets to other fighters' minds, doesn't he? Remember how Roberto Duran, his mind, even he, the great macho Duran, his mind was messed up by Sugar Ray Leonard in that second fight, and he turned his back on him and walked away.
That's right. It's very important. The mind games come into it a great deal. The psychological thing. They've now moved the ropes up, and we've just got 3 ropes, and they're just...
Well, let's hope that one of the fighters doesn't fall through. It's quite a big gap, as you can see, between the second rope and the top one. It is possible that a fighter could be knocked out the ring, but we are back in business. What round was it again? 6, that's right. It was so long ago.
Well, you can imagine if anything was to happen now, there would be some arguments from either corner, wouldn't they?
Dancing, moving, and snappy punches from Hamed. And at the moment, Vazquez a little bewildered by it, you'd say.
This is difficult for him. He's trying to get in range, can't get there. Gets caught with little shots as he's coming in. Very frustrating fighting a boxer like Hamed.
You see, we always felt this, didn't we, Glenn, that when he moved up in class, he would know and come to experience that you just cannot walk through and blast out top-level operators. And I think this is the most effective way for him to box against the top boys.
Yes, that's right. Bear in mind the style he's got. He's got to be careful. Still bad feeling there as they come together.
Now, strange that, because there's been no hint of that at all at any of the press conferences this week.
Well, I think obviously they respect each other and they've been friendly, but this is different now. This is the business. This is getting on, and neither one's really got a good stranglehold on the fight yet. Nobody's really that much in charge, so the macho still comes into it.
Here's another problem. The judges scoring that round, can they remember what happened in the first bit? Because I can't.
That's right. But I've still got it. There was a knockdown at the beginning in a 10-8 round for Hamed.
Thank you, Glenn. Indeed.
A little bit of a swelling on the right eye of Hamed. Just working there with the lens well. So Vazquez is trying to get through.
Huge entourage. Vazquez has been following all around town and clapping him and making lots of noise and whipping him up into the second half of the fight. Will we see Vazquez try something new? But of course he is very wary of Hamed's power with counter shots.
He's a smart fighter. He's not about to rush in recklessly. Hamed would like him to do that.
Oh, another left hand! And he goes into a dance. That was a big shot from Hamed. Vazquez again is up cleanly, but he's down for the 3rd time in the contest now. Nods to the corner, says, I'm okay. Terrific shot that, though. And then, to follow it, a short, snappy little right hand.
Now moving in, looking for the big punch. That was a good right hand.
Oh, he's got him with another left hook there. Looking a little rockier on the legs, Vazquez. He's turning up the gas here, Hamed. Still, I'm sure his boxing brain is telling him, take no liberties. Do not give Vazquez an opportunity to counter, because the Puerto Rican will take it. Make no mistake of that. He's got out of jail before. The decision to rush in and try and walk through him has to be taken at the right time when he feels that Vazquez is ready by Hamed. He's certainly softening him up now, though, with these shots. And that left foot is more off balance than anything, really. Vazquez, but rocked by that. Those legs are starting to go. The legs now have turned to timber for Vazquez. Another left hand. And the end may be close from again. His pride gets him up at 3, maybe unwisely at 3.
Yes, the legs were unsteady when he got up. He should have took some more time.
Hamed looks to be on the verge here. It is stopped in round 7. It is stopped, and Prince Naseem Hamed has turned on a superb performance to retain his WBO featherweight title. The rope may have broken, but the title is intact.
A great performance, a careful performance. He didn't leave nothing to chance, took his time, looked for the right opportunity, was very patient, and when it come, he struck.
That was one of his best performances, I think.
Very good performance. He's maturing, he's becoming a better fighter. I think he's learned a lot from the New York experience, and I think he showed it there. To deal with a fighter as good as Vazquez, to stop him like that in that fashion, put him down that many times, is very good indeed.
4 knockdowns in the fight for Hamed, making it 53 he's scored, by the way, in 30 fights. He's unbeaten in 30, and he keeps up his remarkable record of winning every World Championship fight he's been in by stoppage. Vazquez stopped for the first time in 8 years, and only for the 3rd time in 61 contests. And that was a pretty eloquent statement by Hamed to those critics in America who said he's vulnerable, he isn't really that much, he's ready to be taken.
At times he can be vulnerable, Ian, but I think it's work like this, speed. Look, the hands are down, but look at the way he puts his shots in. This is right at the finish. Good left hook followed just after the right hand. He goes down heavily there.
Vazquez was on extremely shaky legs in that round. Emphatic performance from him. He didn't get the prediction right, but who cares about that? He has the win. He's still the champion, and next stop is likely to be the USA again against, well, we don't know who against yet. Maybe Kevin Kelley again on July the 18th, though there are other possible opponents. And all the nastiness is forgotten between the two fighters. Here's the first knockdown of the fight.
Yes, he's just waiting. Vazquez rushes in, a quick right, and then followed by that big heavy left. He was very quick to jump up on each occasion, and at the end I think he was a little too quick to get up. This is the second knockdown. You see the defenses have come down. He's on unsteady legs. Hamed just picks him apart from long range, looks for the right openings, but he's going in, he's going to get him there.
He'd gone at this point, Vazquez. You could sense that the end was near. Hamed knew it, and he is a ruthless finisher, as we've seen before. The referee calling it off, and no complaints at all significantly from Vazquez.
Heavy shots. That final left, I think, would have been the one that made the referee rush in. He took that. That was a heavy blow.
And the young millionaire from Sheffield is still champion of the world. And there's Dad with him. And he's really looked after his dad as well, who's worked so hard for their family of 9 children.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Gino Rodriguez steps in and calls a halt to the bout. The official time, 2 minutes, 29 seconds of round number 7. The winner and still champion, and because of this, his victorious 10th world title defense, he is recognized by the WBO as Super World Champion, Prince Naseem Hamed.
He's still WBO World Featherweight Champion then. But I think more importantly tonight, a message will go out to the rest in the world in this division that whatever belt you want to talk about, Prince Naseem probably deserves to wear it. Maybe now becoming unquestionably the undisputed best featherweight in the world. Barry, what's your thought on that?
Certainly the premier featherweight in the world, without a doubt. And we've always known that. He's just galvanised his authority here tonight. Fabulous performance. In finishing the fight, was a bit disjointed in the middle rounds, didn't have his normal flow because he wanted to knock him out all the time, didn't use his jab. But when he started to get it going, after that break actually helped him. Once he started to get going with his jab, he just took the guy out of it. Incredibly powerful.
It wasn't the most exciting fight in his canon of work so far, Jim, but the way he finished it just underlined.
Well, as a matter of fact, the fight was bordering on the boring at that time because the challenger was showing so much patience and so was the champion, both trying to lull the other fellow into a mistake. And just when the fight needed a little bit of drama, when Naz moved up through the gears and produced it and just showed the difference between him and a real good, solid professional, by the way, Wilfredo Vazquez, first-class, top-notch fighter. But look at the difference once Naz gets to work.
Nicky Piper.
I think Naz showed tremendous maturity tonight. He was determined after the New York experience to come out here and win and certainly not be put down. He boxed a little cautiously on times and did, as Jim and Barry said, make for a little bit of a boring fight in the middle rounds. But really, he showed patience. He was determined to win in style, and I think he picked his punches towards the end beautifully and showed the power that we all know he's got. And that is a power that, is this right, that no other featherweight in the world possesses, and that's what separates him from the rest? Nobody else possesses, and I don't believe anybody else can take. When Naseem hits somebody, especially at featherweight on the chin, they're going to go down and stay down. And I thought Vazquez was very brave to get it into the and strong to get it when he did. I really think that Naseem is an awesome pound-for-pound puncher and can eventually move up 2 or 3 weights and still win.
Well, I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure that he can move up 2 or 3 weights. He's 5'3", and he may be able to move up to super featherweight, but I don't know that he'll want to go any heavier. Look at the size of the guy. He's not that big in the shoulders. He's got very strong, powerful legs, and he's holding a bit of fat around his back. So, interesting to see Carl King here tonight. What's he doing here?
Well, you tell me.
Yeah, exactly.
And no doubt you've got some very good conspiracy theories as well.
Does that Colton ring they had mean he's still got a financial interest? We don't know yet. But really, certainly, I think this guy, I disagree with Barry. I think he can move certainly to lightweight and maybe light welter. He's got the speed and the power to carry it up there.
Well, I've always said if you're good enough, you're big enough, and I just think that he may not be able to get himself into the type of shape that he demands.
Now, if I'm not very much mistaken, they are the executives from HBO, the American cable network, who've taken such an interest in Naseem Hamed and broadcast his last fight in the United States. They launched him as a celebrity. That's Tony Banks, the sports minister, free lunch, obviously. But superb from the Americans' point of view that he's delivered tonight on this side of the Atlantic. They were thrilled by the fact that he cut it so fine last time.
Well, I think they were really excited by the performance. It was a fabulous performance the last time. It was a great entertaining fight. But obviously, they were a bit concerned about his vulnerability and the fact that he was knocked down. But I think he galvanised, as I say, his overall authority. This is the best featherweight in the universe. There's not one like him.
Now, since he's won this fight, there has been none of the old style, brash showmanship and celebration. Now let's see how he talks tonight with Ian Dark.
Well, here is the Prince, still the champion. That was patient, clinical, and in the end ruthless, wasn't it?
It was wicked, you know. He's a very, very good world champion, and he deserves all the credit that he gets. But you know, the real world champion is, I say it all the time, I am too strong for these featherweights. When I start punching them, they're going out. I'm taking them out. That's 10 world title fights, defenses, 10 knockouts. What are you saying, Curly?
Well, that was reminiscent, wasn't it, of the Badillo fight, wasn't it? Throwing the jab, picking him apart round by round.
I picked him apart, but I knew as soon as I hit him, just like Kelley, you know, I had to take my time. He's a very, very strong, determined fighter. He came to win tonight. I seen it in his eyes, and I felt his shots. He was good. He was a little bit slow, you know, but I knew my speed and my heart and my strength was going to get me through it, and I just thank Allah again.
In that 6th round, when the rope broke, was there any danger of that breaking your concentration?
No, not at all. Again, I had to compose myself. I had to relax a little bit, get in the corner. I just had to take my time, basically, watch about the ring a bit. Just basically focus, you know, get my mind together and how I was going to take him out in the other rounds, you know, coming up. And then I did so in style. See them? Did you see them knockdowns? Did you see them accurate, wicked shots?
There were 4 of them all together. There seemed to be a bit of bad feeling between the 2 of you in the fight. You kept putting your face in. There seemed to be a bit of bad feeling, I was saying, between the 2 of you in the fight. You both had your face in each other's face at times there.
I'm going to tell you the truth. We both wanted to win that bad, you know. Every time it came into each other's face, he wanted to stick his head into my face. I wanted to stick my head in his face. And he's a little bit hard-headed, but I had to knock it out of him after a while, you know.
Where does the story go from here? July in America, they're saying.
July, whenever. I'm not really bothered where I fight, you know. I love boxing in Britain. I told you, Manchester, 9X Arena is just absolutely wicked, and I perform every time. Every time. And I'm just saying. To my wife, Alicia, that's watching out there, big respect. Coming soon, baby.
And you've got the baby coming in June as well.
Most definitely. I can't wait for my little boy, you know. Hopefully it's going to be a beautiful, health-safe baby, inshallah.
Has it changed you at all, do you think, as a person, all of this? Being married, baby on the way?
Not at all. I'm the same person. I've just got so much love for my wife, you know. Everything's running smoothly. I love my parents, my family. We're a beautiful, stable, close family. And I've just got to give all my credit to my parents who brought me into this world for me to become a legend soon come, inshallah.
And your father, I read a quote the other day where you said that your hero outside boxing is your dad.
My hero outside boxing, I've always said, is my dad, you know. My dad has done so much hard work in this world, and he deserves a champion like me, a son to take him to wherever he wants to get.
Well done tonight, still champ, well done.
Well, that's not an act for the cameras, that is genuine. So he reigns on. When we come back from this short break, we'll look again over the details over that clinical destruction of Wilfredo Vazquez. More from the Naseem Hamed camp and more action from this